good evening. It's Monica from Life is Art, and this is our third and final crafting video as part of the mini catalog September to December launch party that we're having this evening. And we're going to be looking at one more collection from the catalog, which is the Nests of Winter Suite, and we're going to be using some of the DSP as well as the dies and some of the embellishments. And so let's get started. We're going to be making a Winterly Trees and Birds card, and we're going to start with a piece of basic white that has been cut to 5.5 by 8.5, and it's been scored in the center at 4.25, folded on the score line to create our card base. And this is going to be a top fold card on the landscape. And then we're going to immediately come in with a piece of the gorgeous DSP from the Nests of Winter collection. And this is the one that I think is kind of intriguing because it has sort of a mottled background that looks sort of like frosty snow in the distance. And then it has more distinct circles and dots in the foreground. And it's just gorgeous, and it looks wintry and chilly and all those things. If you're joining me live, just say hello or howdy so I know you're here. And if you're watching later on replay, you can say replay and leave a comment. For those of you who put a comment in on a live video, you earn yourselves an entry into the door prize draw, so that's exciting. And the back side of this particular piece of DSP has some of the gorgeous birds from this collection, and I'm just staring, there we go, staring off to the side. I tidied up my desk after our scrapbook layout and lost track of where I had put this, even though I had put it exactly where it belongs. Gotta love it. You put something where it belongs and then you have no idea where it is. So this piece has been cut to 4.25 by 5.5. So it is exactly going to fit the front of my basic white card base. And I'm just going to use my fingertips along the folded edge to feel when my piece is lined up and then stick it down. And that always seems to work for me to get the pieces where I want it. Now, from this collection, there is the Winterly Treetops dies. And there are dies that cut out the birds from the stamped images as well as the DSP. Then there's this gorgeous evergreen frame. There's a swag, there's some pussy willows, a little extra bits of evergreen. And so we're actually going to take this frame, peel it off here, and we're going to do some die cutting with that. Let me just grab my die cut machine, my Big Shot, and also the piece of copper clay that I have cut. So this is copper clay, which is one of the coordinating colors for this collection. And this has been cut to 5.25 by 4 inches. And I should have actually done this before I brought in the machine. I'm going to go ahead and center my my die on there. Let me grab a couple little snippets of washi tape. These ones have donuts on them. So that's what you do with washi tape that you're never going to put on a project. You use it for die cutting, right? So we're going to go ahead and do that. Stick it down, bring in our machine, make our sandwich. And whenever you're putting a die in here that has a nice hard straight edge, you always want to put it in on a diagonal so that it doesn't go bang really loudly when it runs on and off of the die. See how that didn't bang on me? That's what I was going for. So I'm going to just scooch this aside for a second. And take my washi tape off, stick it on the thing on the side, and then I can reuse it again if I want. Usually washi tape can be reused quite a few times. And then we're going to peel this off. Now, because this is kind of little intricate bits, it wants to really snuggy hold on to that die. So what we need to do now is just remove the center bit. And this takes a little bit of patience. It has cut beautifully. However, because these are all kind of little tapered ends, it just holds on. It doesn't pop out as easily as it would if it was, oh, that part didn't actually cut very well. After I said it cut beautifully, of course. We're going to relieve it of that for a moment here. And so we can continue on. We'll deal with that in a moment. I only ran it through the one time, and I could have probably run it in and out. And that usually does what it needs to do. But they see how they all kind of try and hug it. It's like, did you ever play with those toys that were like little spike balls and you could stick the spike balls together to build stuff? That's kind of like what this feels like. You have to like, they're laced together, I think is maybe the term. The two sides of the cardstock. So you got to kind of open it up a bit for them to let go. Let it go, let it go. Got to sing the Frozen song. There we go. These ones are coming out all the way around. There we go. Now, you can keep this piece, although it's got a weird little spot now. You can die cut a few more things out of the center, or you can use it in itself. Now, just because I did a little bit of a hack job there, we're going to come in with our scissors and we'll just, what I normally do is if something doesn't cut all the way through, I sand on the back side, but because this is so fine, I have a feeling I would just rumple the whole thing up. If I tried sanding on the back side, I would just destroy it. There are things that will work, and then there are things that method will not work. And I think this would be one of those things that just the sanding would not be the ticket. All right. So there we go. We've cut that out. There are a few little things we can poke out, little hollow bits here and there. Let's see. Oh, there's another one there. There we go. I think we've got them all now. And I've also gone ahead and cut the same thing using the garden green or shaded spruce, which is also one of the coordinating colors. And if you look at it, these are identical. But if I take this one and I turn it around this way, they are not going to be the same. And then if we layer those two, one on top of the other, you see that we get sort of a fun overlapping pattern of evergreen boughs. Let me see. Let me put it on here so you can see. You get a fun overlapping pattern, and it's kind of got that, you know, sometimes evergreen trees have little dead bits, or there's little pine cones in there. So having that little bit of the copper clay coming through just adds another dimension to the die cut image. Okay, and because you can turn it around, it just adds a little something something to there. So let's go ahead and stick this down to our card. Let's make sure we've got our fold at the top. There we go. And I'm going to come in with my adhesive Now, because this has the ability to create any size edge that you want, it's just completely based on the size of cardstock that you cut. You could easily make these into something that would become a shaker. And that's when you would want to use those 3D foam adhesive strips to add around the edges and create a nice fun shaker panel. And I actually thought about it for this, that I need to get some new shaker bits. And so I didn't really have anything I wanted to use, but I'm thinking that those snowflakes that are in the new mini catalog would be perfect for this, that we saw when we were doing the walkthrough. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to center this on our card, if I could have it not stick to all my fingers. So we've got our top there. We're going to center this, and I need to just check. Yes, we have less showing than I think. And we're going to center that like that ish and stick it down. And then we're going to come in with our green, our shaded spruce, which is a coordinating color. So when you want to find out what colors coordinate with one of the collections, when you look in the catalog, you will see the list along the bottom of the picture. So let me just bring that in so you know where to look. If you go to the Nests of Winter, pardon me, you're going to see a little colorful strip along here, and it says Real Red, Copper Clay, Garden Green. Sorry, it's Garden Green that we're using. Coastal Cabana, Crumb Cake, and Gray Granite. So we're using our Garden Green here, I think. It might be. Yes, it is. Or it might be shaded spruce. Either way, it still works. And if you have the DSP, then on the backing sheet for your package when it comes, the cardboardy bit, there will be a list of colors on there as well. So you've got two places you can look. Now, I want to make sure that I'm not lining these up the same. So this would be the same. So I'm going to turn it around the opposite direction so that I'm not putting it on the same, because I want to have those two distinct layers showing. And then we line it up and stick it down. And doesn't that really make a fun frame for that snowy sky, doesn't it? Laura says, hello again. And Deborah's here too, liking this frame. Isn't that really fun? And because I only added adhesive on the edge, it creates that nice little bit of ruffliness that's happening naturally. I'm not adding any foam, but it's kind of popping up. Then from the DSP, we have the papers that have the gorgeous birds. And so I went ahead and cut this out. Now there is a die. No, there is not a die for this particular one. There's a die for another set of birds, but not this one. So I went ahead and fussy cut these two little birds on their little evergreen branch so that they could come and sit here on the front of the card. And I'm not going to stick them down just yet because I want to bring in a little bit of embellishment. And I'm going to use the coordinating natural tones linen thread it's an embellishment from this suite, the Nests of Winter. And I want to use the copper clay linen thread to create a little bit of sort of a nest-like thing happening. So if you notice when you pull thread off the spool, quite often you're going to end up with this little curly cue. Probably can't see it there. A little curly cue of thread because it's been wrapped around this card stock tube. So if you just take the back side of your scissors, I haven't opened them, I'm not cutting anything, and just run it along. You can see how quickly you remove some of that kink or crinkle or whatever you want to call it from the thread. And then we can just snip off however much we want. Now we can use it the way it is. We can peel it apart and use some of the smaller threads, but I'm just going to kind of use it the way it is. And I'm going to do it very haphazardly. You can see that I'm just kind of rumpling it up in my hand and just kind of draping it down on this corner of my card. And then I'm going to take my little birdies here and just set them on there. And I kind of like what's happening. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my adhesive and stick it on there. Like I said, a little haphazard, but it's okay because my little birdies are going to cover that up. So I'm not going to worry about it. There we go. It doesn't even bother me that that pointy one is sticking out, or the end. There we go. Okay. And now I could if I wanted to. I'm not going to because this has little evergreen boughs and there's evergreen in there. But I could take my leftover copper clay and garden green and I could cut some of those extra dies that we have here in the dies. We've got these little extra ones, and cut a few of those and just kind of tuck them in around for a little more fullness. But I think with the thread and what's going on in the background, plus the evergreen that's already on there, we have enough going on. We're good. And so let me just grab some dimensionals here. We're going to add a few dimensionals to the back of our birds so we can stick them down. I might cut a couple of them in half if they look too big. There we go. Stick another one there. Anybody else snip their dimensionals like this? I do all the time. Sometimes you only need just a little bit, a little dabble, do ya? There we go. And I should maybe put something over here. Oops. Along this little stem. Like that, because it'll be over near the edge. Okay, that's enough on there. We really did it up good. All right. Now we're going to peel all these backings off. That's the problem. Sticking them on there is not so hard. Then you got to go along and take all the backing off. It's not that hard. I'm just being silly. Talking to myself. I feel like I'm talking to myself. Deborah says she thinks her next order is going to be this bundle. It is really pretty. I'm kind of glad it was the one that they used for the creativity now, because I've basically been drooling on it ever since, and I have been avoiding using it. All right, so we're going to stick our little birdies on there with our nice little thread poking out, kind of giving us that feel of the, the little bits and bobs in the nest. And then we're going to bring in the coordinating embellishment, the earth tone shimmer gems, to add a little bit of sparkle to our night sky, our wintry wonderland sky. So we're going to use these sort of paler ones here in the background. And let's see, let's add a little one down there. And then maybe one there. There's different sizes. There's little ones and big ones. So let's grab a big one. I'm using my take your pick tool to lift it up and just stick a few there in the sky. And do I want some green ones on there? No, I don't think so. I think we'll just stick with those little sparkly ones that we added into our sky. And again, because Oh, I was going to say, because I don't have the stamp set, but I do have the stamp set for this. And where did I put it? I didn't even think about putting a sentiment on here because I didn't have any other stamp sets. So my brain was saying, I don't have stamp sets. We have thinking of you always, a friend like you brings me happiness, and sending thanks and much love. So I'm thinking maybe this one, a friend like you brings me happiness. No, I think I'm going to use sending thanks and much love. Now, this is a cling stamp. And because it is a cling stamp, we need to stick our stickers on. Let me grab a block, and I want to show you what you do with the cling stamps. So the cling, one of them's already been done. The cling stamps come, actually 2 have been done, on here. And you're just going to pop them out of the red rubber, like so. And they have an adhesive backing on there. And then they also come with stickers. So we're going to find sending thanks and much love. We're going to peel this sticker off. And this is why we got our block out. We're going to take our block and we're going to stick our sticker onto our block. And there's a backing on here that we're just going to peel off. It's split in the middle, so you can peel it off. This is the easiest way to stick the stickers onto your cling stamps. So we're going to peel the backing off. Now we can take this cover off of the foam. That's all nice and sticky. I'm going to stick that down there. And because we have a clear block and a clear sticker, we can, let me just move it a little bit closer to myself so I can line it up. We can then look through our clear block and line up all the edges of our sticker on our cling stamp and then squish it down. And that gives us a perfect match to our block. So let's go ahead. We're going to season this up. I don't know if you have to season with those kinds of stamps, but we do anyway. And I'm actually going to put my sentiment on the inside. And let me see, what color am I? You know what? I think I'm going to use the copper clay. Let me just grab it here. Of course, it's at the bottom of the stack. Copper clay. Just open up our ink pad. We're going to ink up our stamp. And I inked like a crazy person because I always forget. And then we can go ahead and stamp our sentiment, sending thanks and much love in the copper clay on the inside of our beautiful nests of winter cards. So we started off with our basic white card base and then added on our DSP that creates that sort of snowy winterscape in the background. Our 2 layers of the die cut in copper clay and garden green, although I think that's shaded spruce, but close enough. And we turned them around so they're not the same. We added a little coil of the linen thread embellishment, a fussy cut bird cluster with some evergreens, some sparkles, and then some stamping on the inside, sending thanks and much love. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing that last project today come together, but don't worry, there will be more stamping and creating with all of these gorgeous things from the new mini catalog as time goes on, and you will get to see and enjoy it. And if you create a card like this, then I would love to see what you create. If you create one of the layouts that we did today or the tent fold card, I would love to see it. So please post pictures and then we can all be inspired by your creativity as well. There is links posted in the event page where you can take a look at the mini catalog as well as the digital brochure for the scrapbooking workshop kits that were released today, as well as the packs of two-tone cardstock, the white willow, formerly known as white daisy, if you're coming over from close to my heart. And there are the cardstock, some of them are multi-packs, and there are 4 colors that are available as individual color packs, along with the white daisy. So lots of things to look at. Follow those links over to the page. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. I had a wonderful time. I hope you did as well. I've got 1 or 2 more things to post, and then we'll be done for the evening. Feel free to put an order in, and then you'll get your name in for the Catalogue launch party mystery host draw, and the winner of that draw will receive $25 off their next order, which is awesome. And we will see you again soon. Toodaloo! Have a great night. Bye.